Human thought is naturally scattered. To counter this, many foundational texts rely on organizing information into a specific, symmetrical grid. Surah Al-Fatihah, the opening chapter of the Quran, is one such text. It is recited dozens of times daily by over 1 billion people. This frequency of repetition often leads to it being treated as a standard, one-way monologue, a rote petition directed upward from a distance. Looking at the physical composition of the Arabic calligraphy reveals a different internal logic. 7 distinct numbered rosettes mark specific segments throughout the lines. These markers divide the text into a dialogue consisting of 2 equal halves. The first half defines the nature of the divine, while the second half defines the condition of the human. They meet at a single central grammatical pivot point. Analyzing the surah through this structural lens reveals a blueprint for a two-way conversation. This top section establishes a theological foundation in the objective third person. It begins with Rabb, positioning God as the macro-level sustainer. Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim follow, adding 2 distinct layers of mercy, concluding with absolute justice, the sovereign of the day of recompense. These definitions serve to establish the parameters of reality before any interaction occurs. In this section, the human subject is entirely absent. No request has been made yet. The first 4 verses clarify the identity and nature of the entity being addressed, which is a required step before a petition can begin. At the surah's center, verse 5 repeats the word Iyyaka, or it is you. This transition is known as iltifat, a sudden, intentional shift in grammatical perspective. The text moves from the distant third person and snaps into an intimate second-person direct address. The first half of the verse establishes human action. It is you we worship. The second half establishes human dependency, and you we ask for help. The logic follows that recognizing divine sovereignty necessitates worship, which in turn leads the human to acknowledge their total reliance on that sovereignty for assistance. Verse 5 acts as the formal covenant. It is the fulcrum that transforms a series of theological observations into a binding relationship. The final section of the text focuses on the human side of this dialogue. Here, the text shifts into the imperative mood, a direct command or request. Verse 6 contains the central petition of the entire surah: guide us to the straight path. After establishing the scope of divine authority in the opening lines, this request for guidance is the only petition made. To define this path, the text uses negative constraints, identifying the correct route by clarifying what it is not. The first constraint in verse 7 identifies the path as one that avoids those who evoked anger. The second constraint excludes the path of those who are astray. Faster, more energetic tone. Accurate guidance requires knowing the final destination while simultaneously identifying the specific boundaries that define a failure. The petition is a singular positive route, bounded on both sides by these negative definitions. This structural map shows the surah divided into distinct conceptual zones. This layout mirrors a specific theological framework found in the Hadith Qudsi. This tradition describes Al-Fatihah as a literal dialogue, where each verse recited by a human triggers a response from God. This creates an alternating loop, where every piece of data provided by the reciter is met with an immediate response. Rather than a message sent into a silent void, the structure facilitates a reciprocal exchange. The result is a balanced and symmetrical interaction. The symmetry of Al-Fatihah creates a highly specific mental framework. It guides the reader to map out a specific reality before addressing their own needs.